A lot of people are big controversy because you're such a strong anti-war voice, and then you endorse or support Joe Biden, and he voted for George W. Bush's Iraq War. He supported regime change in Libya. He still supports regime change in Syria. Joe Biden today is against troop withdrawal in Iraq and Syria. I mean, so how can you square that circle? How could, if your message was one thing, endorse a guy who's diametrically opposed? How does that happen?
Like I said in my message, I don't agree with Joe Biden on every issue. I'm looking forward, continuing to see how I can best influence our nation's policies to do exactly what I've set out to do. Given the choices that are before us, I have thrown my support behind Joe Biden versus Trump.
And
which is something I've always said I would do, by the way.
But there's no evidence that we're going to be able to influence Joe Biden, right? So other people have asked, why didn't you criticize Joe Biden more in the campaign? And especially since he would be the guy most emblematic of these wars, because he, got us into them and he's always for them and voted for the Iraq war. So people were wondering why you didn't criticize him more during the campaign.
I think if you look throughout my campaign, I really wasn't focused on criticizing one or another candidate as in multiple interviews.
Did you reach out to the Bernie campaign to offer an endorsement or conversation?
Yeah, I've reached out, but my conversations with them, I'll keep between us and them.
Oh, okay. So you didn't offer your endorsement to the Sanders campaign?
Yeah, like I said, I reached out, and I'll keep my conversations between us and them.
Is all the people who maligned you as a Russian agent and a Kremlin puppet and all that Assad, Tony, all the stuff, as soon as you said you were going to support Joe Biden, all that went away? Huh. Isn't that amazing? So no longer does that apply. Neera Tanden tweeted out nice things about you. It's just amazing. So what that tells me is that all that stuff they said about you was just smears to try to isolate you and kind of silence you. People like me, wanted you to form a third party. And of course, you smacked me down on the show. You let me know
every time.
They wanted me to ask you this, that they say a lot of anti-war veterans say they are not proud to have served, that they are sorry to have taken part, and they offer apology to the countries that they occupied and the people that are living there, and that participating in these wars is only a service to weapons manufacturers and war profiteers. So what do you say to that?
I respect every veteran, those who make those statements and those who express their pride in serving our country. I am personally, I'm proud to wear this country's uniform. I'm grateful for the privilege of being able to serve. And it is those experiences that I have had throughout my service that have motivated me to dedicate all of my energy towards bringing about the political change in our leadership that actually honors the great sacrifice, selflessness, and courage that our men and women in uniform and that our veterans lay on the line. I think that it's important to draw that line of distinction between those who serve and wear the uniform and who salute the flag versus the politicians who are dishonoring that service through the policies that they are advocating for.
So, I mean, it seems to me that soldiers are not fighting for the safety and security of this country, and when they go over to places like Iraq, Syria, Libya, Afghanistan, they're actually achieving the opposite. Even in fighting the war on terror, where it's observed that for every civilian killed, we create 2 more jihadis. And so, I mean, it just seems, giving your piercing criticism of these corporate interventions, doesn't it seem, can you square that circle for me, how you can be proud to serve in things that you call out for being wrong?
I'm proud to serve our country. I am angered by the politicians who needlessly send our troops into harm's way to fight in wars that don't make us any safer.
I just have one more question. So a couple months ago, there's these kids who live across the street from me. I don't know how, they're like 16 through 19. And they're out washing their car. And then 3 recruiters jumped out of their car and started recruiting them to go fight in these bogus wars. And so Steph and I went out and we started talking to the kids, and we said, you don't have to listen to these guys. Tell these guys to get lost. And so it made me think, like, everything that you touch, you make it a little bit more attractive. So are you worried that people are joining these bogus wars because you made joining a little more attractive?
No, I'm not. There's great honor in serving our country.
There's all the people who maligned you as a Russian agent and a Kremlin puppet and all the Assad toady, all the stuff. As soon as you said you were going to support Joe Biden, all that went away. Isn't that amazing? So no longer does that apply. Neera Tanden tweeted out nice things about you. It's just amazing. So what that tells me is that all that stuff they said about you was just smears to try to isolate you and kind of silence you.